Hello everybody, today I'm going to be talking about series I plan to get to in 2023. Very original video idea, I know. I've been enjoying watching everybody's videos about this, so I plan to do my own. And of course there will be some flexibility with this. These are series I want to start, and no promise I'll get through all of them or even start all of them, but this is my wish list. I do have some priorities though, and so priority number one is A Song of Ice and Fire by George R. R. Martin. Did you know that I'm hosting an A Song of Ice and Fire read/reread along for 2023? No, you haven't heard that? Well, I'm just kidding. I feel like everybody knows about that read along by now. I hope they do because I am excited about it. I'm going to be hosting this along with 4 other wonderful channels, including Joanna Sousa, Yolene from Yolene Reads, Alex from Tall Guy Reads, Scott the Bald Booktuber. So please check out the details down below. I'll post the video announcement for that. And I do have a schedule, though I did make a typo with 2 of the dates for Feast of Crows. I put Sundays instead of Saturdays, so I'll make that correction and repost. But I'm very much looking forward to this. This is a series that is very dear to my heart. And I read it back when season 1 of the show was first being announced. So it was a long time ago now. I'm very overdue for a reread, as many of us are. And I'm very excited for the people who will be reading it for the first time as well. So check out information for that. And the other priority series is going to be the Wars of Light and Shadow series by Jenny Words. I already read Curse of the Mistwraith, so I need to get to the second book. This is Ships of Mayor, if I'm saying that right. So this series is epic in every sense. There is a glossary with its own language and pronunciation guide and root words for the language in the back of the books. This is part of a read-along that is going to be starting on Philip Chase's channel, and I don't know yet when we'll be discussing book 1, but of course I will post details whenever I learn what those are, and I know that'll happen at some point. I know we've had to put it on pause for a while, but I'm very much looking forward to that. I think Jenny is very talented, and I really enjoyed book 1, so I'm excited to see where it goes from there. The next series I would like to get to in 2023 is the second Apocalypse series by R. Scott Baker. And so I have been reading, I'm almost finished, the Prince of Nothing trilogy by R. Scott Baker. So that's the first trilogy in the second Apocalypse series. And then the second series is Aspect Emperor, I believe. And so that's one that I definitely want to get to in 2023. But I've decided I'm going to go ahead and wait for Philip, since he is needing a bleakness break after the first trilogy, which I can understand. So whenever he's ready to get to that is when I'll start that. So I'm fine with taking a pause because obviously I've got a lot on my plate with the A Song of Ice and Fire read along. Another series though that I plan to get to in 2023 is the Live Ship Traders series by Robin Hobb. So I've just heard so many phenomenal things about this series, especially this book, Ship of Magic. People seem to love Ship of Magic, perhaps even more than the other 2 books in the trilogy. But I loved Farseer, and I love multi-POV stories, and so I just have no doubt I'm going to adore this trilogy. I also love nautical fantasy, so there's just no reason this will not be a win for me. I'm just assuming I'm going to love it. So that will be a priority for me. I'm so excited to get to it. Next on the list, which I really hope to get to, is the Age of Madness trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. So I'm all caught up with all the other First Law books except Sharp Ends, the short story collection. And that's the only thing that's been holding me back from continuing my First Law journey. I really enjoyed the standalones, especially Red Country. I think that was my favorite. I loved the heroes, and I did really enjoy Best Served Cold. I know people are kind of hit or miss with that one, but I did enjoy it. I just happen to really love Red Country. So the only reason, again, that I put it off is because I don't know why short story collections just don't motivate me. And I've also heard that that one is not the best when it comes to Abercrombie's works, that short stories, that's its own art form in a way. And maybe that's not his strength as a writer, though I hear it's still worth reading because it's Abercrombie. But I'd rather just skip it, honestly, for now, and maybe just go right into Age of Madness. You could let me know down below your thoughts on that. I do need to get to it at some point. So hopefully I can at least start Age of Madness this next year because I do love Abercrombie's writing. I think he's a very gifted writer. I find him very funny. And I just enjoyed my time with First Law so far. And next priority series will be the 5 Warrior Angel series. So this is a trilogy by Brian Lee Durfee, who is a fantastic booktuber, has an amazing channel, and is also a very gifted artist, by the way. I've heard that even though this is a huge tome, that it reads very quickly. And so this was given to me from Alex from Tall Guy Reads. Thank you, Alex. And so we're going to be buddy reading this next year. And I really love the font size and the flop to this book. So I'm actually just excited for the reading experience altogether and can't wait. I think this is a completed trilogy now since the last book just came out or is just coming out at the time of filming this. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been putting this one off again for a while and I am prioritizing it for 2023. Next one I'm going to be mentioning is also a buddy read, and that will be for The Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abrams. And so this will be one I'll buddy read with Matt from Matt on Books, and I'm very much looking forward to this. Now, I have put this off forever. This is a series I've wanted to read even prior to knowing about BookTube, even prior to knowing about Alan, the Long Price Quartet Prophet. But of course, Alan is the one who put this back on my radar and made me want to read it. And so I can't wait. I've heard wonderful things about this series, and I think this is going to be a series that was made for me. I just have a feeling about that from everything I've heard from my friends. I've heard that it has a slow build. I know Sarah from Sarah Reads has spoken at length about how wonderful the finale, the ending of this series is. And so I think it's going to be just down my alley. I've heard the world building is fantastic. I've heard just so many great things about cultural explorations, about character work, about the themes, and of course the long price of power, that kind of thing. So I can't wait to discuss this with Matt. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think Tori from Tori Talks might be joining us for those discussions as well. And I will have to invite the Long Price Quartet Prophet, Alan, to any discussion I have on this book. Another one I'm prioritizing is the Elric Saga Book 2 by Michael Moorcock. So I still need to finish Volume 1. I'm so sorry, Evie. She very kindly gifted me these volumes. And I was doing well when we were meeting for every book in these bind-ups, because there are 4 books per bind-up. And so I was doing well when we were planning to meet for each story at a certain date. But then we decided to stop doing that and just meet for the overall book. And that's when I started falling behind and losing my pacing. So I need to get back onto this, and I will. I will finish off Elric's Volume 1, and I'm excited to continue on and discuss this with my group, with my read-along group. So that's Sarah from Sarah Reads, Evie from She Was Only Evie, Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and I think Liam from Liam's Lyceum. He did join us for the first discussion, but I'm assuming he's going to join us for the second discussion too. So excited for that as well. I think that's it as far as fantasy series I want to get to that are completed fantasy series in 2023. There is one more I would love to get to that I planned to get to in 2022 and it just didn't happen. And that's The Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. I've just heard so many great things about that series. I feel like I'd love it as well. And I don't know if I'll start it in 2023 or not. I guess it'll just depend. It'll all just depend. But that's what I wish I could get to. Maybe that'll just be something I'll reassess in the second half of the year to see if I can fit it in or at least start it. But we shall see. Now, there are some series I want to continue that are not finished series, that are continuing series. So one of those being the Gentleman Bastard series. I did read the first 2 books in this series. So I might get to the third one in 2023 because I am a huge fan of Scott Lynch's prose. And so I think it'll be fun. It's great humor, great fun, great adventure. So I think it'd be fun to continue that journey. I'm not going to put a ton of pressure on myself to get to that right away, but I'm looking forward to that. And then another one too is The Hunger of the Gods by John Quinn, because I did read at the beginning of the year The Shadow of the Gods, and it left me pretty excited to see what's ahead. So I'm curious to see what's ahead with The Hunger of the Gods, and I've heard there is a good recap of the first book. So I may get to that. And then the other one too is the second book in the Witness trilogy. I will probably prioritize this. This is by Stephen Erickson. And so The God Is Not Willing is book one. So I want to get to the second book whenever that releases. And maybe I could talk some of my friends into joining me for a discussion. Maybe Philip and maybe Jimmy and maybe Alan, if they can get to it. There is one more series I want to start in 2023 if the book comes out, and that is going to be the trilogy by Philip Chase. I believe his first book, which is The Way of Idan, I want to go ahead and read that if it comes out this next year. And I know we're going to get some news about that series very soon and what he's doing with it. So there's that. And then I didn't even mention all the self-published books that I want to get to because I do have a separate TBR video for that. So I want to get to many of those books. But I will probably prioritize the ones that I already have on my shelf, even outside of that video, the ones I have on my shelf that were gifted to me. I hope to get to some of those in 2023. I think that's it as far as fantasy series I would like to get to in 2023. Now there are some sci-fi series I would love to get to, including the fourth book in the Dune Chronicles, God Emperor of Dune. I know I said I wanted to get to that at the end of this year and it just didn't happen. Additionally, I would love to get to Sun Eater by Christopher Rocchio and The Three-Body Problem by, I think, who is the author of that? I cannot remember now. I'll put it on the screen. And also, I keep hearing about Book of the New Sun by Gene Wolfe, and I've heard a lot of people recommend that one to me as well. I think all three of those would be a bit ambitious given the list of fantasy series I want to get to. And if I don't get to those sci-fi series, it would be nice to insert some sci-fi standalones into my TBR at certain points. We will see. But please let me know in the comment section below what you think about my list, if there are any you recommend for me, knowing my reading taste. And that's about it. So thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.